Hey guys, so I'm on my way to work with the new Inspector Gadget Floorboards. Now, as you know from my video, I've been riding with the right one for a couple weeks now. Love it. Left one had to put the heel toe shifter on, so I'm getting used to that. It is different, you know, after 2 years of riding my SM5 here, learning the subtleties of shifting it with only my toe, changing that and relearning, you know, especially if I need to shift quick or something, I forget, oh crap, I got to use my heel. So it's just relearning, right? So with that said, I will say this, the SM5, pardon me a minute, the SM5 has always been a little twitchy getting into neutral. You know, when you first get it and you're first learning, you know, I downshift all the time, so I'll downshift all the way to first, stop at the light, and then, you know, it's a very light uplift with your toe to get into neutral. Many times when I was first learning the subtleties, I'd pass neutral, go into second, or if I was in second, wanted to drop into neutral instead of first, I'd pass that going to first. So very light touch, you just have to learn the sensitivity to for finding neutral. And then even then on super hot days, sometimes finding neutral, it's like weird when it's super hot. Not sure why that happens, but I know other SM5 people who've said the same thing. So that, and you know, sometimes if I'm upshifting in a hurry, come out of the light, and sometimes I'll miss second. I'll go from first and actually into neutral. Even though I hear the gear train clunk, I'm still in neutral, you know. I don't watch the dash, so, you know, I go from first into second, and it's like, ah, crap, I missed neutral. Now, I don't do that a lot. It happens every now and then. But that's a subtlety, too. So learning the new heel toe shifter now is kind of making me relearn those little subtleties. And I'll tell you one reason why is from first to get into neutral, you know, I'd put my toe under the peg, and it was a very light kind of pop to do that. Now, if you're in first, you got to lift your heel a little bit and just lightly tap that heel shifter. And because the heel shifter's farther back from the central pivot point of the shifter mechanism itself, of course now it doesn't, a small amount of travel way out on that pivot point is even more so. So it's taken me relearning that the tap on the rear, on the rear pedal of the heel pedal to find neutral. So I can do it, it's just relearning. And again, you know, it's relearning 2 years of a lot of riding to learn to deal with it. I got to tell you one thing, where I mounted that heel shifter is absolutely perfect. It is not very high from the floorboard, and so finding it with my heel is just a subtle lift of the heel, and I'm on it. So I highly recommend you do what I did to adjust that heel pad height, and watch my video. That is, put that first hole, drill that first hole, make that a pivot point. Pardon me. Make that a pivot point, and then make sure that the shifter arm is all the way up. That'll mean that the heel is all the way down, and then adjust the bracket on that pivot point until that heel shifter is just above the floorboard, and then mark the other holes and drill them. Worked out perfect for me. I love the height of that heel pad right now. Love it. So that's the way, in my opinion, to do it. You know, Randall's instructions gives you measurements from the ground on how high the heel should be, and that's all fine and good. But you know, if you got different tires maybe, or your suspension's pumped up higher, or you know, something like that, that may be variable since you're measuring from the ground. So do it my way. It'll get you the best location for that heel. And as you see in my install video, when the heel's pressed and make sure those gears are lined up and you're actually all the way up or down with the heel, that it's just above the floorboard, just like the toe really is on the floorboard, as I showed in my video. So I highly recommend you mount it that way, and that way you get it precisely in the optimum spot. Anyway, So far I'm liking the floorboards. It's all about getting used to the heel toe shifter. I got to get some more miles on to see if I absolutely decide I'm gonna keep it and go from there. So yes, it's relearning. It's having to relearn how to shift here, and remembering to go reach for the heel. If I'm shifting fast, my brain is so used to shifting the way I've been shifting with just my toe. It's like, oh crap, I got to reach for the heel. So it's just getting used to that, and I'm sure it's just a matter of brain training over time. So bottom line is the heel toe shifter's great on this, way better than that Reefco. I hated that Reefco. I never even used it. The heel part was way too far back. Pardon me. I don't know why I got a tickle in my throat this morning. The heel part was way too far back, way too low. I didn't like it at all. It definitely won't work with Randall's floorboards, but his heel toe shifter's a nice design. You don't have to move your foot hardly at all to reach it. And the fact that you can adjust the height to where you like it, makes a big difference. So bottom line is, out of all the heel toe shifters out there, I think even if you didn't get Randall's floorboards and you wanted a heel toe shifter, look into that. Just the sheer adjustability to where you want it is a good thing. Anyway, so enough babbling on about that. Let me get some more miles on this. Make sure I like it. Now, one thing I will say, let's say I don't like the heel toe shifter, right? Which I'm not saying I'm not. So far, so good. It's just a matter of brain training. I will say I can get, now I'm wearing tennis shoes, kind of. My cousin calls them skateboard shoes, but I can actually still get the sole of I can almost get my foot under the shifter, the toe shifter. So for those of you that absolutely decide, look, I don't like the heel toe shifter, but I've got an SM and I'd really like floorboards. Something to consider would be to make a wedge that you might put under that floorboard where it mounts to the peg, and tilt that floorboard. It wouldn't take much. I got to tell you, it would not take much of a tilt to allow you to get your foot under the original shifter. So just an idea for guys that maybe want to experiment, and if they don't like the heel toe shifter, that would be a mod that I would do to do that, because I can actually, if I can get the sole of my shoe under the shifter, and I can still use the front shifter by just catching on the end of it with the sole of my shoe. So I can actually shift like that. I'm not gonna, because I want to train my brain for the heel, but it's just an idea. I think a little tip in that floorboard would still keep it comfortable and allow you to get under the shifter. Now, if you got big old thick steel toe boots, probably not. Be way too much of an angle to do. But just a thought. Anyway, so let me get some more miles on these, and I'll finish off with a final review.